Hey guys, it's bringing you another video, and welcome to another Riot dev update video. We do these when there's big topics to talk about and it's worth doing. And I will just say, this has probably been of something that's come out and then I've seen in the comments and on stream or on Discord, Twitter. I've had so many people go, Huzz, are you going to talk about this? So we are. I was planning to anyway, but especially with the requests. The reason being is I have said for a while how I would fix jungle. And it seems that's what Riot's doing. Now, I'm not going to take any credit for it. I think it was just the logical way to fix jungle. It just didn't really make sense. The problems of the jungle were affected by stuff that Riot did previously. And to me, it was a pretty obvious way to change it back. Or there was two ways to change it back to make it better. But just to say, we've got this article here. I'm not 100% sure if this actually includes the fix that they're doing or this is just little touches. We will read through this. But there is a big one. So I just say the premise is they are bringing catch-up XP back to the jungle. Now, this is what I've said that they've needed to do for a while. And I know this isn't from my knowledge, people on stream yesterday were like, oh, not everybody's liking this. Well, the thing is, jungle is the least healthy role in the game when it comes to feel. That's why everybody doesn't want a jungle, because you're always blamed. Your teammates blame you for everything. You're not ganking my lane. You're not getting the dragons. You're 2 levels down. Because jungle is that type of role. The natural concept was when Riot started to introduce scuttle crabs, neutral camps that only one jungler can get, they also took away catch-up XP. So if only one jungler's getting that, and by the way, that's not always the jungler's fault if they're not getting that. I've been jungling in games that I'm going to go for the bottom scuttle crab at spawn, and the enemy bot lane come over to it to help their jungler. What's my bot lane doing? Nothing. They're just farming. So I'm now denied XP, not from my own fault, and you can't get that back. It's a neutral camp. So it was a bit of a weird concept to me that if you want these neutral camps, you should have catch-up XP. If you want no catch-up XP, there should be no neutral camps and stuff like that. So let's get into it. All I will say is please do throw a like on the video if you enjoy this, and do comment down below your opinion, as this is a discussion. Whether you agree, disagree, that is completely fine, but an adult discussion is what we always try to do here at HuzzyGames. And yeah, it's a cool thing to see what other people's takes are, to be honest. So let's get into what they're actually saying in this article. So, jungle accessibility. One of our longer term goals is to increase position preference for the jungle in lower MMR. Because obviously worth knowing, jungle is still deemed really the solo queue role, because you do make the biggest difference. You can be the biggest difference between your role and the other jungler because of all these separations in the role. So it is known as the climbing position in solo queue, but people don't still really want to do it, especially in low rating. We're attacking the problem from a few angles that we think in particular will reduce some of the ESO-centric optimizations and help onboard new players to the role. These are the changes we're initially planning as the time of writing. This is on Tuesday the 27th, so a few days ago. Tunings may change by the time this goes up on Friday, but the general rationale will still hold true. Oh wait, this is actually happening already. Oh right, okay. So, more forgiving jungle clears. And I will say, I'm not sure they needed to do that. The way that jungle has been for a while is literally everything can jungle. We've seen even supports now in the jungle. I'm not sure that was it. Maybe it would be actually better to have more, not forgiving, the opposite, more demanding jungle clears. So you actually had to be really careful about jungle clearing. But anyway, with the current shorter jungle timers, the pace of farming and ganking has gone up considerably, making every misstep a major setback for both jungler and their team, which is true. Jungle monsters' base attack damage reduced across many camps, so they'll do less damage to you as a jungler. Jungle monsters' attack scaling reduced, so they scale, people don't realize jungle monsters also scale into the game. They level up, as it were, so that their scaling of attack damage is going lower. The camp respawn timer was 2 minutes, it's now 2:15, so that might seem isn't that a nerf? They're up less, but it's more forgiving. What I mean by that is if you make a slight mistake and you die in the early game, you might not think it's a big deal, but if you die or you make a mistake and you don't clear, Krugs perfectly on time, well, it then delays you getting Krugs again. That's extra gold income. The quicker you clear your jungle, the quicker it respawns, the quicker you get more gold. So it being a 15-second delay now, it means that you can make small micro mistakes up to 15 seconds, and you're now not going to get as punished. So it's more forgiving. The camp bright warning timer was 15 seconds, now 10 seconds. And then the jungle gold from non-buff camps increased. So you're actually getting more gold from like jungle camps or jungle gold. So that's quite good. That's more forgiving. Widening the viable champ pool. Now this is what Riot, I think, was trying to do initially with like, let's fix the jungle. Let's put Darius in the jungle. No. Again, it was never going to fix it. This was what Riot, like, you literally heard them earlier say, we want to increase popularity in jungle for especially low MMR. So what they did was take some low MMR popular champions, and obviously Darius is popular everywhere, but like, oh, he can jungle now. He's got jungle scaling. Oh, that means silver players will play him in the jungle. Not really, no. Because the inherent problems of the jungle were more important than what champions are in the jungle. But we think that less reliance on having the perfect AoE clearing kit or the right CC tools to have scuttle dominance will open up viability for a few more champs. Smite, along with crowd control, will break the scuttle crab's shield before applying damage. Why? Okay. And then Omni Vamp on jungle items is 10%. It's now going down to 8, so you're actually healing less. Right? Or maybe, wait. Again, the way that I'm reading this is what it's currently, this is what it's going to, but maybe this is what it's currently and it's going to 10. I don't know. Someone will have to correct me there because maybe there's weirdness going on. Maybe, wait, really? Wait, I just thought maybe... Maybe this is the other way around. Maybe this is currently 10 seconds, it's going to 15. It's currently 2:15, it's going to 2. I actually don't know. No idea. That's a bit of, like, that's where this article isn't the most clear for me, at least, but let me know in the comments. The Smite percent max health healing, so yeah, it has to be. It has to be, because again, it's more forgiving. So you're actually getting more healing for smiting than you currently do. So even though it's a nerf here, you're getting more actual healing. Yeah, 100%, we're fine. We've done it correct. That in Omnivamp is getting nerfed, because Omnivamp benefits people that can spam abilities. Like an Evelynn can spam Q, get Omnivamp, and basically lose no health in the jungle. But a champion that can't spam abilities, well, instead of getting more Omnivamp, which doesn't really benefit them, they're just getting directly more healing from the Smite. So that's 100% what it is, yeah, easily. All right, so reduce snowball. Another factor that is both causing too much stress, but also too much influence over the game, is how hard the jungle position can snowball, just what we said earlier. We think reducing this will make the position easy to break into and more enjoyable long term. 100%, yes. But, like, I don't know how they're exactly going to do it, because still, jungle is that role. It's always going to be a bit problematic. Like, it's one jungler that is at the right place at the right time can change the whole outcome of the game. Like, you in top lane could be amazing, good in your 1v1, you're killing your opponent, but then if the enemy jungler just goes, I'm going top a lot, it probably reduces your top lane presence, and that's what the jungler can do. There's not a lot you can do about that, or there's your jungler just decides, I'm not going to go for dragons, I'm going to gank, the ganks don't work, and then the enemy jungler's like, I'm just taking every dragon in the game. Like that obviously is a bit of snowballness happening, but reintroducing comeback XP. So they are talking about it here. This is huge. So as I mentioned earlier, this is what I think they needed to do for a while if they wanted to have these neutral camps, especially these scuttles that are still quite a big deal. But large monsters grant 50 XP per level. You are below the average level in the game, -1. So if the average level in the game is level 7, you can get catch-up XP at level 5 and below. So it's, you know, it's not insane. It's really like, I played a game yesterday on stream. No, it was the day before, and my jungler was 3 levels down and was like lower level than everybody in the game. So, and that jungler was just useless. It was like, well, we literally don't have a jungler now. And I will say it was a weird jungler. It might even be a video, but that was it. We had a Nasus jungle, and I think it was versus a Diana. So a lot of you go, that makes sense. And it does. Obviously, a Nasus shouldn't be getting XP at a crazy rate. But when he was like level 6 and she was like level 9 or 10, it was like, oh God. So this will help, like, just making you more useful. And, you know, it's the thing with, like Nasus, as is probably a bad example, but he is never going to get scuttles in the early because he's so weak in the early game. But that means he is now being denied all of this neutral XP. And that's not just Nasus. Like, even Karthus jungle can be vulnerable in the early game. Other mid to late game junglers as well. Or, like we said, the example earlier, I went bot lane. Even if I'm playing Elise is an early game champion, early game jungler, I'm good at Elise. there's nothing I can do as a jungler if I'm going for that bottom lane scuttle. The enemy jungler's there, so it's a 1v1, but then the enemy bot lane decide we're going to go help our jungler. The enemy mid lane decides he's going to help the jungler, and there's suddenly 4 people around the scuttle. I'm just not getting that, and that ain't on me. Like, that's just the team play aspect, but now I'm punished XP-wise for that when it kind of sucks. So you can really get behind an XP really easily in the jungle. So they are reintroducing comeback XP. But as I mentioned, it's not mental. Like, people, you have to realize this is for making junglers not feel really useless. Like, at the moment, a jungler, like we mentioned earlier with the Nasus, he can just feel, I'm pointless this game. I am 3 or 4 levels down on my opponent. I don't do anything. This is what that is for. It's to try and not let that happen. But it's still like, you know, if a jungler's 1 or 2 levels ahead of their opponent, the enemy is probably not going to get catch-up XP because it goes to the average, you know, level in the game. You know, that could mean one jungler is level 10 while the average in the game is level 8. For that player to get, you know, catch-up XP, they'd have to be level, like, 6. Like, they'd have to be really far behind. So it's not insanely big deal, this. It does help, and I think it's a good step in the right direction. I don't think it's as strong catch-up XP as it used to be, but I think that's fine. Like, this just helps, and that's all it needs. It just needs help. That's good. And then secondly, this is the one I will say that I'm not 100% convinced about, and I will say this. So I'm happy catch-up XP is coming back, but the Smite. So Smite damage to monsters used to be 390 at base and then 1,000 when you were level 18, and you know you got near enough 50 per Smite level, whatever. It's now, and this is where I'm a bit like, I don't love this. It's 500 now for the beginning of the game, and it's 1,000 when you complete your Smite quest. So if I'm not mistaken, the Smite quest is when you do the 5 smites, then your jungle item disappears. That's the Smite quest. So you can get that pretty early on, and then your smites will be doing 1,000 damage to monsters. The reason why I don't love this is because, so again, it's going to be slightly contradictions here, I think, but like this is where it's the nuance of game design. There is one thing being behind an XP, and you're punished with actual strength, right? You're punished that, oh, they have their ultimate, I don't, or whatever it may be. But when you're ahead on Smite, there's a whole nuance to, oh, we can't do the objective right now. The jungler's too, like, even though, oh, we've killed 3 people on the enemy team, we can do Baron, but the enemy jungler's 2 levels ahead. That means they do 100 more damage in Smite. We have to be really careful. They could Smite still. Even if I do a perfect Smite, the enemy jungler does an okay Smite, they could steal this objective. There was like a skill to that. There's skill expression to that Smite difference. This gets rid of that. So it's where, like, again, there are contradictions, or like you have to be really careful about it. So literally all the junglers are practically going to be doing the same Smite damage at all times now. So what does this do? Well, it does, you know, the skill expression to Smite is still there. If you both have 1,000 Smite, then it really is who does the better Smite, who times it perfectly, because you both have it the best, you know, the same damage. So some people would argue it actually increases the skill on it because you both do the same damage, and it's really who does the best Smite. But what I would also say, this also increases the power to execute jungle champions. So the champions that have a spell that they time with the Smite, I'd say this probably increases their strength. So Nunu can time his Chomp and his Smite. Lee Sin can time his Q and his Smite. That probably helps these champions a little bit as well. So not every jungler is going to benefit in the same way. But, like, again, there's negatives, there's positives. I kind of like the nuance, oh, the enemy jungler's 2 levels ahead. We have to be really careful here. But this also, at the same time, it will, in fact, increase maybe the skill expression to actual smiting. So, like, again, there's a separation between which jungler is better, the jungler that's maintained a 2-level gap the whole game, or which jungler can smite better. There's two, you know, there's an actual skill to smiting. It's not just all about jungling. Smiting is part of jungling, but there is a separate skill layer to it of timing it perfectly. This might actually, you know, up that, because it will be everybody's got the same smite. So it's interesting, but we'll see how that goes and pans out. And then future work, something they want to add to the future for jungling, is camp leashing clarity. So leashing is still a thing in League of Legends. It's when, you know, at level 1, your bot lane or whatever, usually your bot lane, sometimes the top lane if you're starting red or blue top side, They do a bit of damage to your starting camp, and then they make their way to lane. This has changed throughout League of Legends history. Back in the day, mid laners used to leash, believe it or not. So, like, it has changed. But, you know, you could argue, does it really need to be a thing anyway? But here we go. A particularly important skill for high-level jungle optimizations to perfectly manage the monster leashes and drag them into optimal positions for max clear. Oh, so this isn't about, like, your teammates helping you. This is about you kind of kiting the camps yourself. So you'll see really good junglers, and this is something I even need to improve on. They will minimize their damage taken by perfectly moving at the right time to kind of sometimes stop the auto animation for a jungle camp. So, like, stuff like that is quite important. But it's happened to me that I will literally be one auto attack from killing a buff, and I walk slightly too far, gonna get the auto, and then it just walks away, and I'm like, where you going? And it sucks, but that's just what happens. So they might be trying to improve this. While not removing this skill, because yes, there is a skill to this, we want to help newer junglers learn the rules and leash ranges of each monster camp. When within 200 range of causing the monster to leash, a warning particle will appear to show the monster's leash range. Oh. So basically, if you, again, you never get to know if you're, say, fighting blue buff, how far you're going to walk away. You just have to learn it. You're kind of in your head like, oh, he's about to run away now. So they're going to be introducing a mechanic that basically will show, oh, it's about to run away from you. You're about to reset the blue. It will warn you. So yes, it does, you know, there was a skill difference, I guess, to junglers that perfectly knew this anyway. I don't think this is a big deal. Again, what this is for, and you know, what Riot is doing, let's be honest, is they are trying to make jungling more approachable, because it is the most daunting role in the game. Like, if you right now had to rank which is the order of roles in League of Legends from most approachable, and this is, again, don't confuse the easiest, but most approachable to least approachable, I'd put probably support as most approachable, because, you know, you're the support, you don't have to farm. It fairly, you know, you're just helping. You're getting vision, you're giving information, you're pinging. And then jungle, probably the least approachable. Like, well, dude, I have to do jungle farming, I have to do the right path, I have to also get vision, I've got to get objectives, I've got to gank at the right time, I've got to also do all that without falling behind an XP. Like, jungle is the least approachable. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it more approachable. Like, some people will be like, oh, dude, I don't want to jungle. That one time, I screwed up my level 1 blue buff after my bot lane helped me, and then I was behind by like 30 seconds because I mucked it up and it reset, and that just really ruined my day. Like, that sucks, and it does, but maybe this will make it a bit more approachable for some people. So yes, maybe challenger players will be like, oh, they're making it easier. But you also have to remember, and this is where sometimes the voices on Twitter or Reddit aren't the best. League predominantly is a game played by very average players in the game. The average player, believe it or not, isn't very good at League. Like, I know that sounds crazy, and people are like, wait, really? I know. But I'm in Diamond right now. I don't even myself feel like a particularly amazing player. I'm in the top 1%. You know, that's the thing that you sometimes have to think, is like, I'm not an amazing player, but I'm in the top 1%. So the person that's in the top 50%, you can imagine, is probably a little bit different in playing, that even if I don't feel like I'm great at the game, but I'm in the top 1%. So the game has to be built around the you know, it's that kind of balance between Riot, like, balancing to top level play, pro play. Like, the last patch we just had was for MSI, right? Even said this is a pro patch. Like, sorry, we don't do separate patches for pro play, that they have different scaling than live servers. We do it together, but this is for MSI, and it affects solo queue and normal games. That's just how they've done it, which I think is fine. But you have to have that balance of, yes, this is a pro competitive esport game, but the vast majority of those people that play this game, and when we say vast majority, the mega majority, are going to be either normal players or silver on average or bronze on average, and they need some help sometimes. Like, you can't really have a game if your average player can't really do that well in it. They'll just stop playing. And for the most part, that's what I have seen a lot of people do recently. A lot of my audience that I talk to very regularly, I've got a very closely, you know, tight community on Twitch especially. A lot of those people have stopped playing League for now because, one, they find it too complicated. A lot of them don't like the new items with all that. But also, I have heard complaints about the jungle. So for me, if they are taking steps to try and just make the game more approachable to the average player, I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. You know, you need to sort out your average players just as much as you need to sort out your pro players. And if anything, for Riot's actual wallet, the average players, let's be honest, are going to be making way more bang for your buck than the top 1% of the game. Like, you know, when 90% of the game is in the average block versus the top 1% that may be not loving this, let's be honest, for even just a business decision, it's a no-brainer. But here we go. At a high level, we want these changes to be helpful and satisfying for jungle players across all levels of play, but we're not aiming for a significant power increase or decrease for the position. We're giving and taking away power in equal measure while shifting mechanics so that the jungle is more welcoming to newcomers. There are probably a few more iterations and adjustments to make before these changes go on live servers, so we'll be reading and processing your feedback from the PBE. Thanks again for playing with us. So, worth knowing, I am, as you know, you probably are aware, a league partner. One of the benefits of being a league partner is I do have quite good contact with rioters, and also I am aware that occasionally rioters will watch videos of mine. There's a decent chance there's a rioter watching this video who may have something to do with this. So comment down below, what do you think? They are literally asking for feedback. And yes, they'll be saying we're looking for feedback from the PBE, so if you are wanting to jump on the PBE and then give some feedback then, but get in the comments, just say what you think initially. My initial, I'm fine with it. I really am. Like, I think Catch-Up XP had to come back. If you literally go back a year ago, I've been saying it. I just have. So do I feel, I don't feel smug, obviously, but I feel like sometimes when you've been saying something that you think would help the health of the game for a while, and then they do eventually do it, you're like, I knew it, like, there was something to what I was saying, which is nice. But overall, I think this will help jungling. The one thing that I don't personally agree with, so again, not everything I will agree, I don't like that Riot are adding champions to the jungle that, in my opinion, don't belong in the jungle. I am an old school League player, and I understand that sometimes I have a grumpy old man hat on, but I like champions in their role. Like, if a champion's designed for mid, I like it played in mid. If a champion's designed to be an AD carry, I like it being in an AD carry role. Like, I don't like Tristana mid or Lucian mid, for example. I like Darius being top. I don't need Darius in the jungle. I don't need Gnar in the jungle. I don't need Rumble in the jungle. Like, that's just me. And some people, again, agree, disagree. Let me know. Like, a lot of people like variety. Like, that's been Riot's big word this year, is variety. Even though in most games, I'm still building all the same items every single game. But anyway, that seems what Riot wants to do at the moment. But let me know what you think. Quite an interesting topic that, you know, have they fixed the jungle? I think they haven't fixed it, but I definitely think this is on the right track. And yes, with a bit more weighting and adjustments, I think hopefully jungle won't be that role that you either have the god tier jungler that's won you the game, or you have the jungler that's like, what the hell is he doing? He's 3 levels behind and he can't do anything anymore. Because that's what jungle's turned into. But if you guys did enjoy, do throw a like on the video. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys. And remember to subscribe and all that good stuff, and ding-a-ling the bell, because then it actually tells you if I upload videos. I still get comments of people going, dude, I thought you stopped uploading videos. I've never been given your videos. It's good to see you still uploading. I've never stopped uploading. It's just people don't get the videos, weirdly. But ding the bell, and that makes sure you actually get the videos. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.